welcome to our lovely future humans, our 5D collective. To those who are tuning in, we have a lovely episode. It might be short, it might be long, some stories, some points of views, but in the meantime, our focus, uncertainty. It does not reveal your fears, it does reveal your choices. And so for those of you who do journaling and mindset practices, you know about the pay-hip bundle. I've been talking about it. From uncertainty to steadiness. And that's because embodied self-leaders embody emotional intelligence. In fact, we're going to have a new weekly episode or bi-weekly, depending on the questions that catch my eye from our lovely Reddit community. Emotional intelligence group caught my eye, so we'll look at that one maybe at the end of the week. In the meantime, love creates leaders, fear creates followers. Love creates growth, love creates safety. So love is what a self-leader is made of, while when we do look out there in the world and see the fearful ones, they are reactive, they lack self-leadership, they move with urgency, and above all, they move with this masculine, which is boring to those of us who have our own, but we're divine masculines, because we have masculine, feminine, I'm using Maria's mystic words, and attachment trauma education, and so an integrated brain, and that means you're an embodied, self-aware, nervous system, sovereign person. So while our lovely attachment trauma education is now popular language, I have noticed that there's a number of not emotionally intelligent people in emotional intelligent group. I've also noticed there's a number of people who think that there are not human beings who have a window of welcome to their own nervous system, while I know differently. And those of you who journal and reflect know differently. If you are aware that fear, we all have it, the healthy kind does not create control. I want to do diet. We're doing the diet. I am on a nutritionist diet, and I have a 5D Mystic Diary, which I have not updated you on, but that's a side note. When that happened, it was 3 days prior to me getting my diet. I've done wanders. The day number 1 was the hardest. My IBS completely went away, and I have been doing great, putting weight in the right places, feeling good. So nutrition, amazing. My nervous system, I self-regulate. And so that's the part of where you own your own left and your right and your child parts. Your subconscious, some will call it. I will call it a lot of things. And those who don't know that neuroplasticity, our biggest agent is imagination. Those who don't know that they're the only ones who can teach themselves the micro habits to lead to eustress. Okay, so that's where there's a difference between those who will continue with their maladaptive patterns of behavior, their window of small tolerance, using that which are the inner critic, outer critic, drinking, drugging, fucking, fantasy stages, and whatnot. There are those who are hooked on their drama. They're hooked on anxiety. In fact, they're called drama kings and drama queens, except for the expert therapists who say, don't call them that. And it's, there's a bunch of people out there who right now they've created followers who are so devoted to them that they will praise them. They are praising in the moment as we speak. So people who are dysregulated, they praise each other. And all I can think of is, wow, it's so sad that they don't notice that they're exactly like Diego's family from Ice Age. So they all will have insecure egos. They will gaslight each other. They will make fun, revenge, this and that. It's a pathology on a wheelhouse, and any lover, emotionally intelligent person will notice what those pathologies are doing, and you're all, wow. Following the lead or the leader. So you can't actually look at them and say, I respect you as a human because you got a child inside of you that never saw the light of day. I can't respect your intellect because you got none. You got a bunch of bullshit, and there's your epistemic lazy assholes, and there's 3 kryptonites to human awakening, potential, and evolution. And I don't need to tell them to evolve. It's none of my business. They're my own business. Empowered divine feminine here. Beginner's mind. You also don't make assumptions, and you know how to protect the future. It's called you mind your own business. You leave alone the ones who are fearful. They just want to follow each other around. They also have a bell, ding, 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 and they call each other to each other's cauldron. And so in the meantime, steadiness. Is that how you are able to handle when you're emotionally activated? I know I work with my edge all the time. You guys get to meet my edge, and that's a 3-year-old and a 16-year-old. Intellectually speaking, I love those who do notice urgency. There's no urgency unless you're in a physical threat. So that's what nervous system sovereignty means. And that's why journaling and mindfulness and mindset, the practices, you use them effectively. Every day you're building habits. The habits are going to move you to steadiness, and they're going to have you feel more, not less. So you emotionally deepen because you're able to regulate your nervous system under activation. And it's really fun, by the way. So you grow vibrant, you don't stagnate. And with that, you can check out the paid bundles. Also, Substack, there's going to be paid subscriber-based content that's to be organized so that I can present it to you actively. There's also free content. So urgency, reactivity equals lack of self-leadership. Just remember that framework. Well, if you are practicing pause, means you're going to be aware. You are activated with self-leadership. You pause yourself and you actively reflect in the moment, because that's how easy it is if you are self-empowered. Now, if you're not yet there, then in time you get there. So it's all, you know your journey, I know mine. So my 3-year-old, she's still angry at humanity because they are very scary monsters. All the grown-ups who are fearful ones, because they want control. They have insecure egos. They continue to live the past, and our kings and queens were 14 years of age. And today when I see teenagers, they're the same irresponsible ones I met when I was a teenager. And so, no, I don't actually think they make any kind of good decisions whatsoever. But since I do know that intelligent ones are out there, I am very much aware that empowered divine feminines will win, because they're the ones who have empowered divine masculines. And I found out that on Apple Podcasts, I'm #1 for twin flame guidance. Twin flame and twin flames don't test feminines. They actively lead us to exactly where we always knew we were going to be. Those who stand the test of time, because we don't lead with followers. We don't do, bah, sheep. Oh, look at you all validating each other's emotions. Oh, you're so cute. I'm going to stop. But yeah, we don't do that shit. We're like, okay, we're going to leave it alone and try to work with ourselves so that we don't sound like assholes. You don't like unpredictability, I see. So you don't know how to handle that which is called uncertainty. You don't know how to handle rejection. So if they reject you, what happens? Did you just say your confidence get eroded? Yeah, no, my confidence doesn't get eroded. Because when I'm meeting intelligent ones, they know how to talk to me, like Terrio. And that's because they actually have this thing called humility. They have no ego in a way of it being obnoxiously arrogant, as it's not an insecure one. You know what I mean? So left and right, it's amazing. That's why it's 2 different results. When you have good leadership, management in companies, they thrive. When you have shitty leadership, mediocrity, and thanks Dan Martell, it ain't dangerous. It's obvious to those who do have, I have self-respect. And I do respect others. Therefore, I will reiterate my healthy self-worth and boundaries without needing to make it about selfishness in a way that sounds childish. So when you are a person who pauses, let me read to you. You regulate and you lead from steadiness. And that's why it's a skill to be able to be resilient and to also know we're all human. So I have plenty of ways that I'm working with my edge, validation loops, and I look to bring to you those examples. So when I say, I almost reacted, then I remembered sovereignty and integrity are choices. Okay, so when I get upset at that which I see out there, and I'm disgusted by it, not angered, because anger would mean I want to correct it. But physically speaking, I am grounded in reality. One human being can't correct. And when I think of my college years, I have a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy. I talked to a number of my colleagues, and my bachelor's is in political science. They all actually had different opinions. And when I talk to ignorant ones, I don't actually take them into consideration from an intellectual perspective of that which is called society, with sociology in mind. And it's not to disrespect them. It's that if you lack the capacity to learn books and then move into more books and then move into the future and stick to peers who, like Neil deGrasse will point out, will know how to find objective truths and not deny them. Okay, so when I meet those who don't know discernment, Those who don't know equanimity, spiritual bypassers, and somatic, I find that I might as well hang out with the flat earthers because I'm going to hang out and have a good time there. But you want to talk to me about some monster or something with pedestals on, yeah, I'm going to leave that one out. My point is, when I think of the world, I'm disgusted, and disgust is one of the 6 basic emotions that saved me from berries and our ancestors way back when, is that's why the emotions, they don't have a story of good or evil. They have a disgust served so that we could know something might be bad. Anger is about correcting, and it's about being able to fight something, which is good when it comes up, but that's where, we don't need our hands anymore like our ancestors did. Sadness would actually put us in the fetal position. The bear eats you, but it's because you're releasing trauma charges. You're really sad. You didn't bond. Okay, fear, it's good that we have it. You could freeze though, right? So if the sky's falling, shit, you're done. But the point is, it serves you and your body. So disgust. Happiness serves because we were joyous and surprise. So 6 basic human emotions have no narrative to them. And when you're an emotion intelligent and self-leader, you'll know this, which is why love creates leaders. It grows people, keeps them safe, and then they can, with common sense, under activation, notice I'm grounded in reality as a mystic. I know who wins as a spiritual one. It's God. And as a grounded in reality, dark matter, dark energy, please don't implode. Scientists continue learning shit, and hopefully there's enough smart people to invest in all of y'all. And the ones who are very, very much thinking of humanity as pieces of shit, no, they're not. They're just a bunch of people who, if they're insecure, yes, they want to control, which is why we're just like, that's such pitiful fools. It's so sad. Wait a minute. Let me put a hand on my heart. They didn't choose to be addicted to drama. They didn't choose to be addicted to anxiety. I'm so sorry. So right or wrong is their only shot at feeling that they are empowered and that they mean something in life. So I guess that the fact that they validate each other and have a small window welcome because they were hurt when they were kids growing up, and then they follow other unembodied leaders. I guess here's that explanation for you. Okay, so when you can explain why we have those who are out there doing ignorance, I don't believe humanity is made for tribal certainty in the way that some think, because I don't believe that you're stupid. Do you think you're stupid? I'm just wondering. Because anytime someone wants to use intelligence, but then I notice that they don't think we can get along, I'm like, where's your intelligence? Obviously, you don't think we're intelligent enough as a species to be able to work together. You think we need a common enemy. Oh, so you basically are reactive. You don't know what self-leadership is at all. No, you're controlled by your feelings. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not controlled by mine. Are master emotion. They wheel, they come, they go. They're all amazing. I don't suppress. Emotion regulation is not suppression. People think we pretend to not feel. No, we just have equanimity. It's a very, very beautiful energy use stress. That's why people think we're always happy, but we'd rather be happy because at least we're giving that energy to the poor children who have a bunch of people out there who are weighed down by life. So you do the grunt work? No, we don't think of it that way. It's not really nice to think we do all the work. That makes it sound like you think you're all alone. That's another validation loop that martyrs and superiors give each other. Nope, we're not savior complexes. Please stop. So this is how ego and self work together to let you know we're all the same. Lovers create leaders. We're all actually people with our 3-year-olds trying to save ourselves. Your embodied brain protects you. Mine protects me. And I'm not in danger except for dark matter, dark energy. But that's something I can't do anything about. As for the bad leadership out there, apparently, again, there's different opinions about that. So I look forward to the future because I know what the future is made of. The only thing that can ever win are winners. Winners get along. Winners know how to share. Winners have humility. Winners have love in the forefront. Winners know what subjective reality is. Winners know what grounded in reality means. Winners don't use their beliefs as knowledge. Winners know the difference between believing in something and knowing data, information, and knowledge. Subject matter experts, which is why we don't confuse the two. And anyone who wants to give me beliefs and make it sound like it's knowledge, I'm like, look, that's your subjective opinion. Knowledge means that there are objective truths by peer reviews and they come together, not the ones who say they're right and they're wrong, and they have very good panels of discussion together. They don't isolate themselves from each other. Now, if they isolate each other from each other, then they're not knowledgeable anymore. Now they're just two groups of people. We'll listen to them. We'll hear what they got to say. And so with that being said, love creates leaders. Love creates safety. Love will be the future. Natural selection. Intelligence always wins. Embodied divine feminines don't have any kind of fear in a way of it being unhealthy because masculines can't win. Half a brain is not two sides of brain, and it's not a competition. It actively sounds really silly when I notice people not doing that which is the work to get their embodied brain to be their own. And it's very sad. But I was told and explained why. And so am I supposed to be angry at the teenager who's spiting their own home? Because that's what happens. When really it's not the teenage version, because that's a different way of bringing it to you, the child part. It's an embodied brain that was never gifted love. They do not know self-regulation. And self-regulation was denied them, which makes them completely scared shitless of it. And so am I supposed to be mean and make fun of and or try to point a finger at someone who knows not what love is? No, I'm bringing it right now to help you understand. I can't feel upset to the point of saying there's no monster. There's an explanation to why any person will reject, refute neutrality and duality, refute that which is eustress, refute self-regulation. They don't have it. They didn't get it. It was dangerous because their body was meant to have it to begin with. So the body knows the truth, but your intuition and your gut is not going to be right if you are coming from a dysregulated one, because it's going to think that the restorative and the love is not real, but really it's dangerous to love because you're vulnerable. So that's the part of where when you get explained things, it's pretty clear what happens. So the ones who are still trying to be upset at humanity, there's a Zen master out there with laundry. Makes me think of El Dorado and the priest who basically thought Jaguar season basically was where all of these people were going to be sacrificed. And he was pretty happy about it. El Dorado watcher. That's a spiritual bypasser who thinks humanity is yucky. Well, I think humanity, yes, is disgusting in the sense of when they're in their insecure egos, but that's because they're dangerous, but they're not actually disgusting. It's a sad story. Just can't pity them because that's disrespectful. To pity a life that made a choice that you can understand because their ego is going to explain it to you, their subjective reality. And as Terry Real points out, those who have humility, those who are functional adults, they will be able to listen because they'll know what's important in a relationship. It's called that I see you because that's the only thing every human will want, to be seen, to be soothed, to be safe, to be secure, to be heard. That's why love grows people who are leaders, while fear doesn't make any kind of leader, just makes a bunch of morons. It's exactly what I think of them, and I'll never change my mind. And I'm talking about Maria's future because I've been around for eons, and this is a song that never ends. Yeah, so it seems like some of us will be back for more. In the meantime, Mystic here, twin flame and flames. Yes, we know why our twin flame and flames will be who they are. If you're an empowered divine feminine, you don't have questions. In fact, you say, in the name of Father and Son, Holy Spirit, thank you for keeping me away, God. Thank you so much, as I would have been ashamed of Maria, completely ashamed of myself. After I got all attachment trauma educated, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, God. That's it. That was all. That's all I can tell you because too much. So I almost reacted. Then I remembered sovereignty and integrity are choices, and some people don't get those choices. So you do really want to treat someone like a little piece of shit when they were treated like pieces of shit their entire life and they're still living it? No, that would make me a mean person. I don't want to be mean. See, look at that, my image. Am I trying to be a goody two shoes? So there's my child part. Yes, I am. But our child lives through us is the most amazing. Don't shy away from it. It's okay. The ones who don't like it, it's fine. They won't have to be around your 3-year-old or 4-year-old all the time. You know how to manage it. I know how to manage it. Then when we come together, we're like, we're all children and we're all grown-ups and we're all having a good time. Woohoo! And that's why you may be right, I may be crazy. But it might just be a lunatic you're looking for. No, I'm not that kind of lunatic though. Okay, so before we go, just this last one, because I really wanted to read a part of this book. So this is for sociology, master degree people. But you don't have to. It's not too complex. So you don't have to have had college or anything like that. And believe me, there's a bunch of words that every one of us won't know. There's some that I use and I'm like, okay, I need to really learn this word again. And then I use them wrong too sometimes. So with that being said, reality. is socially defined, but the definitions are always embodied, and that's in italic that they wrote the word. That is, concrete individuals and groups of individuals serve as definers of reality. To understand the state of the socially constructed universe at any given time, or its change over time, one must understand the social organization that permits the definers to do their defining. I know it sounds like a tongue twister. Give me a minute, though. Put a little crudely, it is essential to keep pushing questions about the historically available conceptualizations of reality from the abstract, what, to the sociologically concrete, says who. And then he goes, or they, it's more than one writer. They go on to say, as we have seen, the specialization of knowledge and the concomitant organization of personnel for the administration of the specialized bodies of knowledge develop as a result of the division of labor. I'm not going to continue because this is where it begins to get very academic, if you will. But when I finished the book one, I said, oh, so everything's just invented by us. But it's not the case. It's that over years, our society has built knowledge. So while some will say we're in the exact same spot we were eons ago, we're not. When epilepsy was around, what did Hippocrates say to his doctors? I learned this from one of the documentaries I watched. He said, when we find out what epilepsy is, you will not call it the wrath of the gods anymore. And they, in fact, found out, and it's not called the wrath of the gods. So now we have people who explain decentralizing in the self and religious experiences, neuroscientists like Patrick McNamara, and people who talk about psychopathy and the exact embodied brain structure and the chemistry and all that. So stop using word evil, word monster, word loose. Stop using the scientists that are using that still. I saw them recently, some of them. I'm like, why are you using that word? You should have knowledge by now from your own colleagues that this is not appropriate. So do we need to ban words? Is this what's that sounds ridiculous? Can you not explain? Can you not continue to enlighten? Okay, so the part about always having potentially ignorant people, it's a big world, a lot of different spokespeople, but if there's one group that is supposed to be able to come together, it is the academics. But because we have fearful ones who want to control, because they're insecure egos who build their little Hansel and Gretel and they just want their group to be right, we have a bunch of them who actively aren't supporting that which is the consilience approach, but instead they're supporting argumentation that has no head or feet, meaning that they're just doing it for ego's sake, which is the sad part. So from an academic at heart, I'm like, you're supposed to want to educate. While with your insecure fucking egos, you're not educating shit. You're just creating groupies. Sure, go hang out with each other, epistemic lazy assholes. In the meantime, some of us appreciate knowledge, and you've made it into buffoonery like a bunch of other shit, which is why this is my edge, my teenager. It's like, why would I waste time with any of that? Oh, I'm sorry, wait, they have some good information. Let me stay calm. Let me not exaggerate. Okay, I'm breathing again, and here, let me come back down to earth and stop being an asshole like the rest of them. So that's how it works when you do know what knowledge is, and when you know why books are important, and no, not everything's made up, but you better bet sociology is applicable. So subjective reality, as Terry points out, is important. Because you will have constructed something, you will tell me why, and if you have effective realism, which is what every child out there who doesn't lead themselves is a grown-ass fucking human being, it's a fact. No, it's not. It's your subjective opinion and belief, and that's not a fact. You're not grounded in reality. You're using words. You have feelings that are pretty strong. You don't seem to know how to be grounded in a brain. I'm not talking to human right now. I'm talking to somebody who thinks they know everything, and I can't do anything about it because I don't want to. So I learned when I was a teenager how not to do any of argumentation because I really don't want to waste my time and my breath, and because I can be wrong all the time. So the point that I'm trying to make is that lovers grow leaders because we say, hey there, listen to all. Hey there, don't be mean. Hey there, we're all potentially going to fuck it up. Okay, what are we doing? We want it to be a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are children dying, and as a child, no more children. The humans don't deserve children. They don't treat them with respect. They don't love them. They're scaring them. I'm scared. I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm all of it. And I talk to God all the time, and I would cry if I could, but I won't And no, I'm not angry in a way of let me go point a finger and call you a monster. I'm so sad for you at the same time because you're continuing to do that which was done unto you, and there's no way of actually talking sense to ego because they're all reactive. Cain and Abel and ignorance, it's disgusting. That's all I can say, and upsetting. And they're not smart. If they were, then they would learn how to pause, become aware, regulate, stop creating little groupies and sounding like they're badass when all you're doing is bonding together, justifying, validating, and saying you're right. Wow, it's very easy to do that. Oh, I'm so scared. The groups who think they're right. You know what I did when I saw a group who thought they were right as they treated someone like a little piece of shit, which was not necessary at all. Like there was no reason for this to be taking place. Not even a little bit. Yeah, when people want to justify their bad behavior, I'm like, look, I'm sorry. I know we have imperfection. I will not be choosing or picking a side because we all have a subjective opinion. So that's where the word belief goes, which is why that's not knowledge and data. Belief is something that you can take, hold it, have a conversation, not take offense, and keep moving forward. If, on the other hand, you don't know how to do any of what I just described, then you're not going to resonate with IHP. Because I'm somebody who sits in the middle, stands in the middle, and says, I can get very upset. I don't need to make it into a big deal. I already did a bunch of examples. Point is, we're all upset. That doesn't save anyone or help anything. In fact, as Russell Colt's book, Anger Management, proves, as you get angry, you're going to use generalization stereotypes. As a lovely NICABM infographic proves, the hippocampus gets saturated with cortisol. You begin to actively be dumbed down by the minute. Your brain is no longer functioning effectively, so you're a stupid idiot, which is where the people who want to think that they can continue under activation, being brilliant, don't know you're not. And you're becoming smaller by the minute. And therefore, a person who is intelligent will not interrupt you. They will allow it to go, and it won't be, you're trauma dumping on me. It's, you're sharing your opinion. It's very important to you. I know all about it because I'm a human too. I just don't need you to pat me on the back and hear all of what I want to say, but you might need that, and I'm okay to be there for that. And so anchoring in ventral energy and then hoping and praying that tomorrow we get to be here again. And that's where I do have confidence that everything always works itself out because walk like an Egyptian. Thanks to cosmic karmic balancing as a mystic. Thanks to God as somebody who was raised with good Christian Catholic catechists and my faith and complete oneness, even though I'm rejected because obviously as a mystic, the ones who want to control words have told every person that science and God doesn't need science. Science is bad. They continue to talk about mystics as bad and Reiki energy as bad. And I just said to someone who said, there, you're rejected. I'm not actually upset that they're rejecting me. I was just wondering, since science proves God's perfection, why they would be against it. And mysticism, they talk about crystals in the ancient scripture. So really, they're just disappointing. Fear creates control. They are not traumatizing me because you can't traumatize a person who got taught, thanks mom, as a 3-year-old, self-respect, respect for grown-ups and what a bad grown-up looks like and what to do with a bad grown-up. Mom, and I'm not a kid anymore, so there you go. If you're curious about my story, my good upbringing with God, the book The Ways to God, I'm a co-author of it. The chapter is called God is Discerning, Quantum is Love. And while those who are of ancient scripture think that cursing is yucky and that we can't mix it all in, and people who are just as ignorant as can be, I don't want to be around mediocre, ignorant people. I was a teenager and around them. I'm 46. My mind has not changed. I actively just know the difference between if I'm around someone who is fearful, leave it alone, let them talk. They're in the dark sides of neuroplasticity once they've chosen to be negative assholes. I'm not positive. I'm simply neutral because I like to let you all know I don't know everything at all. And as a person who is a mystic, though, I know the future, but I'm grounded in reality. So I'm like, yeah, I know the future, but I can know that I only know 99.9999%. So the reality is I sit on the edge of a bridge and I'm like, yeah, pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. But so uncertainty into the unknown. You don't be like, oh my God, I'm so upset that I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. This is our 8th and 9th chakra mastery. It's, I'll leave you with this. I was a teenager. I would wake up from sleep and cry and be so sad. I don't want to forget my loved ones. I don't want to forget my loved ones. And I read a book of Marcus Aurelius, and he wrote, why worry about something you can't do anything about? How about you focus on leaving behind a legacy? Something like that. And as I'm reading this, I'm like, he makes a lot of sense. Okay, Marcus, thank you so much. And there you go. So if you have to leave the world behind, leave it as a true leader, leave it as a lover, leave it as someone who shows children what self-regulation looks like. And that means you know how forgiveness works, like Jesus taught it. To those who understand it, it means you put a hand on your heart. We all want to welcome each other. No child wants to get left behind. And those who don't welcome it, they were so fearful when they were, that's the part that they don't like to hear. It begins in the womb. And no, it's not something fixed. There's so many different things that I've learned with my attachment trauma educators. And again, there's so many different ways that people will begin to object. Everyone has goodness inside of them is what I'm saying. Everyone's made of the same cloth. Everyone's made of a heart. And when there are those who have an embodied brain that functions differently with that nervous system, okay, that's your core. We're all made of that. I won't call it good or bad. I will call it that which is embodied brain biology. There's an explanation for it. I can sit through the lecture, hear it, understand it, not repeat it to you all, but no, I don't need to use a word that organizes them in a group. I have an explanation that tells me what is going on. And so I'll do this last story here. I have had panic attacks. And someone once said, a person who's never had them, or if they had one little one, I didn't have just one, they're like, but her life's so perfect. When people don't understand that they can't live the experience you're living, and they will physically, in their brain, not understand that. It's called biological rudeness by Stephen Porges, but they're not doing it on purpose. They're in their ego, not noticing that they just express their subjective reality and their perspective above someone else, and they forgot the one thing that none of us can actually speak for each other, our feelings. So our feelings, meaning that the way you will have felt about something will be potentially different than I. So when you're subjectively aware of this, that's why you pause, you're aware, you like self-regulating. Why? Because being yourself, authenticity, it's not hard. It's not easy. It's you choose to be yourself, and it means your child parts are all alive, and you don't shy away and you don't shame others, because you're not going to shame out of someone. You're not going to shame ignorance out of someone. You're not going to make something that's unright right by shaming someone, because the minute you're in that defensive mode, you have now created what is a losing strategy. Thank you, Terra Real and adaptive child part people are protecting a core wound, which means they own nothing of themselves yet. They still have the same broken heart, the same core wound, like my facade friend. All I asked was to be yourself. I'm yelling at him in the car. People who don't know how to be themselves are teenage versions, and that's why don't waste your time. So I personally look forward to meeting every one of the grown-ups out there who is going to leave behind embodied self-leadership, because it is the future. As for what we're seeing, yes, believe me. Just today I was talking to God about it again. And I know justice always prevails. I also know I'm sad for those people who have gut wrenched, torn apart, and shit going on to the point of where it's so sad. But then I remind myself that they don't actually feel sadness when they are in their own heads. I have had conversations with people who say revenge is very sweet, and I've said, no, it's not. But they don't have a relationship with their 3-year-old. They are still not anywhere present with themselves, and so they're actually withering away like Dorian Gray. So when you see that, which is called, like, it's not even self-sabotage, it's like just something that you just think, oh my god, it's not, you're not going to be capable with the knowledge to have that which is called something upsetting in a way of, you have compassion is what I'm trying to get to. You don't lack it. You can't with the knowledge unless you're denying it. Those who deny it, they dehumanize, they distance, and that's their easy way out. It's basically making one a good group and one a bad group. It's an easy way out. Yes, you heard those words. So it's easier to distance yourself and to create good-bad, because that's the moment where your ego is going to take over. You're going to be cut off because you're not caring about another person's feelings, thinking that your way is, and da-da-da. So we all know the story, but yeah, that's not what we're going to leave behind. In the meantime, as long as they are around, we do know what they bring to the table, which is why we share with people. Fear creates followers. Just remind yourself, the sheep, that we all want to bond, yes, but we bond with those who have integrity, values, and those who know what leaders bring. Love, sustainability, growth. It's one globe. Like, seriously. I mean, if you're an idiot, fine, be it. I should not say it, but my point is, it's not that hard to figure out. It's not rocket science. Air, water, food, and the capacity for human beings to be in the year 2026 and not realize this, I don't know what to say. Because I'm really not in a place to think of it as something amazing. I just think it's not possible to have that many epistemic lazy people, is it? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Send me an email, as I'm curious about this. I'm just thinking our brain usually will hone in on that which we are like not liking, you know what I mean? So we exaggerate it because that's all we see. Like, oh my God, I see all the stupid people, and then oh, you're stupid too. Yeah, we're all stupid. Okay. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.